great thing about Berlin concert life and musical scene, and especially DSO public, is that there is always a demand and there is always a hunger to hear something else, to hear something new, and not to be always satisfied with the same repertoire over and over and over. I would say that during the last 6 months we managed to establish a certain musical, certain artistic things which will definitely help our relationship together between the orchestra and me. And I think the repertoire which we were doing, for example, Ivan the Terrible, which was probably the highlight of the season, was extremely exciting experience. The idea behind all the programs for season 2013-2014 is to be as interesting and as exciting as the previous season, and we decided to do that by presenting very, very different composers, very different music, different styles, different genres, starting from something very chamber to very big like Mahlers Second Symphony. So the season is going to be very, very diverse. There is a diversity in the repertoire, in the styles, in the soloist choice. And if you think of Deutsche Symphonie-Orchester, it's the orchestra who is very open in its mentality and its approach, or very open towards the repertoire ideas. That's why when you look at the season brochure and programs of the season 13-14, you see wide range of repertoire. Of course, being from St. Petersburg and studying in the conservatoire where Shostakovich was teaching, being in the Philharmonic Hall where his music was performed, and sharing the same city with this great composer, of course it does help to understand maybe and be part of this world of Shostakovich. But I think at the end of the day every musician finds its own personal message in the music of Shostakovich, because it was deeply personal for Shostakovich, and I think that's what it does to all the musicians who perform Shostakovich. It allows you to relate to something very personal in your own experience. Is a composer who played a very important role in the continuation of the Russian composing school after Tchaikovsky. He was a pupil of Tchaikovsky. In this case we are going to perform a piece called Iwan Damaskin, which has a very deep religious and spiritual meaning for Taneyev, but also for Russian music. So again we are going to present somebody who is deeply Russian, but unfortunately is not very well presented today in Berlin. And it gives me also an opportunity to work with a wonderful Rias Kammerchor, with whom I will be performing first time, and I'm really, really looking forward to that. Mahlers Symphony Nr. 2 is something which really shows us what Mahler is going to be about in his later career. It's from this symphony where the Mahler's deep and serious philosophical ideas really start showing themselves. I have a very close connection to this symphony because I feel very bowled over by the power of the music and the structure of the whole symphony. Of course, you have a big choir, you have two soloists. I think this is going to be one of the highlights of the season, and the symphony which never leaves any member of the public indifferent. I was very surprised to hear that people actually do know about Weinberg. He was a composer as important as was Shostakovich or was Prokofjew in the 20th century. So, and I think Fourth Symphony is one of those symphonies which really quintessentially represents his composing style and his personal musical language. We are going to continue Prokofjew's cycle. We are going to play fabulous scores like Saint-Saëns Suite, Piano Concerto No. 1, which still represents this young Prokofjew and this energy and bordering on being almost provocative. Prokofjew was very, very unique from the very beginning of his composing career to the very end. He never really changed his style. For me, this is one of the most important composers of 20th century. Brahms is a composer who is always going for the truth and almost going over the board, and I think my approach would be not to be too shy to follow his ideas and his indications, and that's what I always try to do, because Brahms was somebody who was never shy in expressiveness, and all of his music shows that. DSO and me, we can find something common together and finally perform it. There is no one recipe for all the orchestras with the same symphony. It all sounds different, and I think that's what makes it really, really interesting. And what I would like to do, that all of the repertoires, French music, German music, classical music, contemporary music, Russian music, but of course, has always been in the repertoire of Deutsche Symphonie-Orchester, and I think that's how it should continue for the future, without giving a special preferences to a particular repertoire, because there is so much great music.